What's going on, champs and champettes? It's FireMonkey here, and in today's YouTube video we have to talk about some new game changes, but also something very interesting that's been going on regarding actual collaborations. So there's a decent amount of content to talk about today. I'm going to be going through everything you need to know in every single mode, but to start us off, let's go ahead and talk about the collaboration that I'll be releasing in the item shop tonight, which is none other than Danny Phantom, which you're seeing over on the right side of the screen. Now, this came as a shock to a lot of people because there wasn't any leaks that flat out said Danny Phantom is coming to Fortnite. No, the only thing we really knew is that there was an unknown cel-shaded collaboration with 2 skins coming to the game soon that had 3 emotes, and one of those emotes had a ghost with it. Now, there have been some people over on social media that have actually guessed that this was going to be Danny Phantom. You know, I think Onslaught was one of the people online that had guessed about it, but there was a lot of people who also just kind of had no clue what it could have been. A lot of people wondering if it was going to be anime collaborations like Dan Da Dan, for example, but nope, it appears like this collaboration is going to be Danny Phantom, and it releases tonight. Very cool to see how we can actually kind of get some hype in the community when Epic Games isn't leaking the details themselves publicly on social media, you know, to content creators or whatever early, and when we don't have situations such as, you know, the skins just being leaked early by leakers such as me, who end up finding stuff like South Park coming to the game soon due to them adding files like Kinney having an actual, like, rift anomaly and stuff like that. But with that said, we have to talk about game changes as well, so let's go ahead and go through everything that Epic Games has kind of detailed earlier today that changed everything up a little bit here and there for Blitz, Battle Royale, and of course Reload. So starting off, I'll be going through the top of the document to the bottom. We have a few things to mention here. First off, we have to talk about locker and emote wheel improvements. They released a patch the other day with improvements to the emote wheel and sorting / filtering, so the grid layout for your locker and emote wheel collections are now going to be improved, and there shouldn't be as many gaps here and there, with items properly being aligned to each row. So if we go over here to my emote wheel, for example, and we go over to the view collection area, you can see it's sorted by season. If we go ahead and change this to sort it by series, for example, and then we back out and go back in, it is still going to be sorted by series. So the sorting now properly works, and whatever sorting you had kind of selected the last update, it should automatically update your sorting to be that one, because of the fact that, you know, for example, I didn't even set it to season when we started this recording, or when the update came out. I kind of just had it already set there from the previous update. So it was nice to see that that was already kind of there and prepared for when I went to show it off for you guys. They made it so that the filter and sorting also persists through every time you reopen the wheel. Sorting by categories will help you access your favorites list more easily, while the sorting A to Z can navigate through your massive library of different jam tracks. They're continuing to improve the system and taking our feedback into account as time goes on, but nothing is going to be perfect right away because, you know, they did just release this whole entire feature revamp, so there's going to be some issues that pop up from time and time again. After that, we have to talk about Supercharged XP. Added this weekend, you'll be able to get 5 Supercharged XP levels, meaning whenever you open up a chest or interact with anything or eliminate, like this person right here, you'll end up getting like 3.4 times or maybe even like 4.5 times XP until you've earned a total of 5 levels through that Supercharged system. Once you go through your Supercharged XP, the XP will be gone, and then it's just a normal weekend, but as long as you log in from December 5th at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, aka right now, to December 15th at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, you'll be getting that supercharged bonus. Now, it appears like some people haven't actually gotten that bonus for some reason. Like, for example, even though it showed me with the normal XP pop-ups, unless it showed earlier in this video, I definitely did not get any supercharged XP, so there might be a little bit of some bugs going on with that system right now. But next up, let's talk about balancing changes to Battle Royale. They've gone ahead and done a few things. So firstly, reboot vans when they spawn in the game will now have a full tank of fuel because of how many reboot vans were spawning on the island with like half their fuel left, and then you would be able to drive a reboot van for like maybe like 2 minutes, if that, and then the van was just kind of gone, right? You know, there was a lot of ditching of vans for reboots every single time I was playing a few matches the other day, right? You know, I would go in a reboot van, I would go ahead, drive around a little bit, and then it'd be gone. The next vehicle I found would be a reboot van, and then it goes away super fast. You know, I don't think I've been able to really find anything to heal up those vans in this game recently, so it's nice to see that now they'll have a full tank of gas, and they'll be able to just kind of drive around a lot more. There's also a leaked rift anomaly coming soon that I'll talk about more in a future video, where it'll rain reboot vans from the sky, so there's definitely going to be a huge focus on the drivable reboot vans very soon. Next up, SUVs and cars will now spawn with more starting fuel in the tank, so if you're someone who likes driving around and you want to use your Fortnite original or Rocket League original vehicle, that is going to be an option available for you. After that, we have a few other balancing changes that come to the game, so it isn't just focused on vehicles. Shockwaves have been slightly reduced in their availability, so shockwaves are going to be rare to find around the island, so you won't find them every single chest you open. Which honestly, it's kind of funny saying that because there's a shockwave grenade right here, but you won't find these as common anymore. Now, they mentioned the following: with the wingsuit and Forsaken Vow Blade already offering exciting and new mobility options, they don't want shockwaves to be the only way people try using the, mobility to get around the island. They want to make sure people are getting a variety of different movement options in order to go ahead and have a little bit more fun with the new mechanics. After that, they go on to mention that self-revive devices now revive a couple seconds faster, because successfully reviving yourself with the self-revive device is honestly a very, very hard thing to do, especially if you're in like solos or whatever else. So they want it to actually go ahead and revive you faster so that you're able to get into those matches more, and so that you don't think the device is completely useless. Sure, there's still going to be times where you won't be able to get a self-revive off, but their goal is to have a little bit of like an equilibrium where, you'll get a decent chance of getting it off, but it's not going to be something where you get it and you're like, oh, well, this is useless. This is basically just prolonging my death experience. Next up, they go on to say that chests are now more common around the island. They now have a 60% spawn chance. Now, this actual hotfix went live a few days ago, but they never actually publicly mentioned it, so it's nice to see that they're going to go ahead and publicly mention it in this hotfix thread so that we have all the information for them. They go on to mention that storm surfing will still appear in some matches if you're someone who doesn't like the whole battle bus thing. We talked about that before. It's like a 20% chance to spawn with the storm surfing instead of the battle bus, and if you go into that storm surfing mode, it will now launch you further ahead. So as you guys may know, there wasn't really that much distance you could really get with storm surfing. Sure, you got a little bit of glide from it, but you didn't really get that much of a boost. Now they're going to go ahead and increase the boost, so when you do get that small chance of storm surfing, you'll have more opportunities to land wherever it is that you actually want to go ahead and land. For reload, however, we have a few vaulted and unvaulted weapons. In the unvaulted category, we have tactical pistols, enforcer assault rifles. In the Deadeye assault rifle, where they've increased the drop rate considerably of the Deadeye assault rifle in Surf City, and then they've also gone ahead and vaulted the flapjack assault rifles, burst assault rifles, sweeper shotguns, revolvers, 6-shooters, and rapid fire SMGs. They go on to mention that in next week's update, Reload is getting all new morphite weapons, which work similar to the chrome weapons, where they morph as you get damage with them, and will level up to the next tier, and that's kind of where the name Morphite comes from, which has been confirmed by an Epic employee over on social media. It is Morphite because it morphs. Think about it like an ore, I guess, that morphs as you deal more damage and everything else, which is kind of a clever name to go ahead and put in the game's like weapon description instead of just being like, oh, it's Chrome 2.0. For Blitz, they go ahead and mention that they're going to do a map rotation now, so you'll have the option of getting the new Blitz map or the Stranger Things map from before this update, which is very nice to see. So if you're someone who wants to go ahead and experience that map, it is now, oh my god, my aim sucks. Sometimes my aim's good, sometimes it sucks. But it's nice to see that we're getting a map rotation over there, and it seems like they want to make that a permanent addition. They have some other versions of the old Blitz map that they're thinking about putting in the rotation, such as one right before they did the whole entire Iron Man event and before the Stranger Things stuff. So there's a lot of different things that they can go ahead and do, and I think it would definitely be healthy for Blitz Royale so that it doesn't feel entirely stale, right? I like Blitz. I love the fast-paced nature of it, but I do think having a different amount of maps, being able to pick which ones I want to go to is definitely a good thing to see. And then we have some generalized issues that they're talking about they've fixed, which I thought I'd go ahead and share with you guys because, as you guys know, just the other day I made a video complaining about how my game was breaking in like 500 different ways. Now, I'm not for sure if my game still breaks, but I do know that some of the solutions I've been told haven't really worked, so we're going to go ahead and see if this ends up helping out. Firstly, crashes on PC using DirectX 11 as a rendering mode will be fixed. As a temporary workaround, please switch to DirectX 12 or performance mode until the fix is released. Now, this isn't related to what I made yesterday's video about, but it's nice to see that they're aware of some of the crashing issues, and they plan to actually fix it very, very soon. Next up, we have to talk about hot air balloons. It says landing vehicles in hot air balloons sometimes, launch you into other realities. That will no longer happen. So if you land your vehicle on top of the hot air balloon's balloon, you're no longer going to get shot 100,000 miles per hour in a random direction and end up sucked into the void of the black hole of Fortnite, I guess, right? That's nice to see that they're not doing anymore, and it's funny that they're seeing that they're kind of like relating it to other realities, and that's where the balloons were taking you. They go on to mention that some remaining issues of the double edit bug will be fixed. This has been a tough one for them, so they are investigating it a little bit more. Audio logs will be able to interact with properly after being unloaded. Now, I'm not for sure what this means. I think what it means, you know, if I had to go ahead and try summarizing it for you guys, it's a system where if you load a location of one of the 4 the order audio logs, it is something where it loads that location, but when you run away from it, it deloads it and never loads it back in. So you can only get it at the start of a match when you load kind of like that chunk area, and you can't just kind of have it whenever you want, right? So it's nice that they fix that, and you can just grab it even if you deloaded it by accident in a match. They go on to mention that Kingston's sword will no longer be visible when performing emotes and default poses. Players will be able to jam on top of drivable reboot vans again. The tag bag back bling will have intended colors and textures. The katana presentation emote will no longer present a weird non-katana object. Players won't be put into a zoomed out camera state after rebooting. The eliminate players with the arc lightning gun to spread fear Dark Voyager Battle Pass quests will be auto-completed across multiple matches. So previously this required you to have full progress in a single match. Now you don't need to have full progress. If you complete the challenge over multiple matches, it will all kind of count up and add together until you have that quest completed. And then they go on to say Kingston will correctly be added to the collection book when you talk to that NPC. And then to end it off, they say keep that feedback coming, we're reading it, see you on the Golden Coast, the new Surf City map in Reload, and Starlight Island in Blitz this weekend. A lot of stuff going on, but there is some bugs that still appear to be apparent because people like AliJax over on social media have mentioned the following. You reduce the drop weight of the wrong loot row. Shockwaves are unaffected by this change, instead you nerf the drop rate of the new Chapter 7 grenade. So it appears that there are some issues going on right now, such as using shockwave grenades where it's actually showing up the same amount. So you know, the fix we mentioned in the beginning of the video, it doesn't appear to be live, and instead grenades are currently nerfed in how often they actually drop in matches. So they might have to revert that nerf a little bit and switch it up here and there later down the line. But until next time, hope champs and champions enjoyed today's YouTube video. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, and until tomorrow, peace out.